Today I'm going to be working on refinishing my Redwood deck, but I'm going to finish it with a different product. The original finish we used was Thompson's water seal. So between the sun rays and the foot traffic and the water, it just didn't hold up. We let it stay like that for a couple years, and then we decided maybe we'll give it one more try and we'll put on another finish. So that finish didn't hold up again, and now here we are today, and I'm just gonna start from scratch. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna use the power washer first and just clean off the entire surface of the deck. And then I'm gonna take the deck stripper. I'm gonna take this stuff and find all the leftover spots, like these spots here, and I'm gonna apply the finish remover on those little spots. So the power washer was really nice. It took off most of the finish. So I had a buddy of mine help me out, and we worked on it for about a half a day to really get the surface all cleaned off and ready for the next step. So we're just gonna use a brush and brush on the areas that didn't come off, let that sit for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and scrape it off or hose it off with the pressure washer. And it did help that the deck was wet. This product does want the deck boards to be wet while you apply the deck stripper. The sides had the most stain on them that we had to remove, but once the stain remover was on there long enough, the power washer was able to take it right off. And you can see on the Redwood that there are some other dark spots that that previous stain had created that was really hard to get off. Unfortunately, you'll see that in the end when it's all refinished. We couldn't get those dark spots out. And that's one of the reasons why I should have just oiled this in the first place. I got everything stripped off yesterday with the power washer and with the stripper chemical. And this is how the wood's looking. Now there's still all that white stuff from weathering. I'm gonna take the deck cleaner and go through and scrub it all and clean it. That way today I can let that dry over the weekend. On Monday we'll be able to start sanding, because the pressure washer, I needed the pressure washer to take off the old finish, and unfortunately because of that it made the wood really rough. So I'm gonna come back with the sander, sand that down after it dries for a couple days. Here's the cleaner I'm gonna use. It's a Behr Premium all-in-wood wood cleaner. So it's gonna take off that kind of white glaze. It's gonna take off any stains and just kind of bring it back to a nice color like this instead of that old weathered stuff. So I diluted the solution. I added some extra water. Instead of doing 1-to-1, I'm doing a little bit less water because I want this acid to really clean the surface. We're gonna see how that goes. So before you put on this chemical, you want to make sure that the wood is wet. Then the next thing you do is take a deck sponge, dip it in the solution, and then just start scrubbing the wood, and you'll start noticing that the wood is gonna change color. That was kind of a cool effect to see that the wood is coming back to life. What happens is this chemical is changing the pH level of the outside of the wood to bring it back to that natural color. This took about a half a day to be able to go through the entire surface of the deck, both on top and on the sides, to get all that wood surface cleaned in preparation for being able to sand it after it dries for a couple days. All right, so far this deck, we worked on it Friday for about 5 hours, stripping off all the old stain that was on it, and with a pressure washer, with scrubbing, and now today I finished cleaning it, and it looks really good. The wood is starting to come back to its natural color. A little bit of sanding and that'll come back to a more reddish, pinkish color. And then we'll be able to start putting the oil on next week. So I'm really excited. It is really hot. It's in the 90s. And I'm glad to be done for today. So here's that brush I was using, the mop. It's actually worn down quite a bit. But I found this to be the best way to apply the cleaner. I just poured it in this bucket. I used the mop, I mopped it on, let it sit for about 10 minutes or so, and then I cleaned it off with the power washer. And the power washer has been a really great thing to have on this project, because I would have been still scrubbing off that old finish had it not been for the power washer and the stripper taking off the old finish. So thanks, power washer. There you are, right there. Nice Ryobi brand. It's done well for us. I didn't think I would use a pressure washer all that much, but this pressure washer came in handy on this project. So I'm thankful for that. And this video is not sponsored, by the way. Now that the wood has all dried, it's time to start sanding. And you can see that the sanding is really helping bringing back that redwood color. After I stripped it, after I cleaned it. And so that's what I'm trying to go for, is trying to get that redwood color to really pop and come through like it looked when I first originally built the deck. So it's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take a lot of sanding. I've got this orbital sander that I'm using. I've got 80 grit on it, and I've got this belt sander as well to get some really tough spots stripped down really quick with some 60 grit. So with these two tools, it's been really handy. It took a couple of days to get through this, of sanding the deck and smoothing it out, and it feels better on the feet. So if you're to walk out here on the deck barefoot, it's gonna feel comfortable, and it's not gonna be so rough, because that power washer really roughened up the wood. Okay, it's almost 100 degrees. It's hot and I'm tired. I'm gonna take a break. When I built the deck, I noticed that the wood changed color within a day because of the sun rays. Because we did all that work sanding over the last couple of days, we threw tarps over the top of it just to help protect it. So we'll come back later tonight when it's shadier and find any areas we need to touch up with sanding, clean off the deck, blow it off, sweep it off, and have it ready for oil. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do oil tomorrow morning, maybe at like 6 o'clock when it's nice and cool. It should be a quiet task, so it's not gonna wake up any neighbors. So anyway, I'm hot. I need to go swimming or something. So now we're gonna dust off the deck and get it ready for oil. So instead of a water seal, we're going to use a deck oil. So this oil is by Penafin. It's made for redwood. They have a lot of different color options, and this is the color that we chose. It's called transparent redwood. So after we oil this deck, all we have to do is in 30 minutes wipe off any extra oil, and that's it. And then as years go on, as time goes on, all you have to do is add a new fresh layer of oil. And it's not gonna peel, it's not gonna look messy. I think we're gonna like it as a better option for maintaining the deck in the future. I also really like how you see the different colors and grains of the wood coming through. So as we were working on the deck this night, I noticed that some storm clouds were coming. And that kind of made me nervous because I didn't want the wood to get wet, to postpone me finishing the deck. And by the way, there was no rain in the forecast while I was doing this project until it just came out of nowhere. So I decided, let's try to do as much as we can tonight. We got about halfway done, and then we decided to cover the rest just in case. But I didn't cover the place we just oiled. I didn't think I needed to. And this is what happened the next day. So this section we did last night, and then this is what I've got to do today, this morning. But one thing I noticed, because it rained last night and this wasn't fully dry, it's splotchy. So I'm gonna have to go over it again. You can see the little splotchiness from the raindrops. It's not very even, not very smooth. It's really frustrating to go all this work, be in the middle of summer when it never rains, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm gonna finish the deck today. Let's throw some rain down. So what happens if it does rain? We found out that you have to go through and clean the deck one more time using the Paraffin cleaner, and then put another layer of oil on top of that, and that would get rid of the splotchiness. Because of the time frame of me trying to get this deck done, I didn't have the extra time to go and redo all that, so I'm just gonna leave it and maybe get to it next year and see if I can get rid of the splotchiness from the rain. So I finished this second half, got it all done, and then it started to sprinkle. Right as I finished the last board, it started to sprinkle. And I wiped up as much water as I could, and then I threw a tarp over it so it wouldn't ruin the rest of it. Came back the next day. It did the same thing that it did on the first half. It made it splotchy. So like I said, I'm gonna just come back with some cleaner next year and finish it off. But as for now, I'm gonna call it good. I love the way it turned out. I love the color, and I love how easy it's going to be to just apply another layer of oil when I need it. And it's not gonna be that big of a deal. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you have a deck that you are working on and you don't know how to clean it up and fix it up? I'll have a list of all the products that I used in the description so you can buy those products if you want and use them on your deck project. So just to recap, this is what it looked like. And now this is what it looks like. I think it's a whole lot better. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now go ahead and check out our other home improvement videos right here and here.